Assalamu alaikum. I'm back with another recipe video, and this time it's my much loved shrimp biryani. I will be talking really fast in this video because I have to keep within the time limit of 10 minutes for IGTV. So whenever it comes to cooking biryani, I always divide the steps into little chunks so that it doesn't overwhelm me, because cooking biryani is a tedious process. So I've done the same thing here for you. I have divided the process into 5 different steps. So the first step is to clean and devein the shrimps, marinated in red chili powder, turmeric, lime juice, just enough to coat the shrimps, not too much of the red chili powder, because then it becomes crumbs in the oil when you're frying it. And I've also soaked some onions, because we need a lot of onions for the biryani. So I've also soaked some before chopping and slicing them, because it reduces tears. Part of these onions will go into the masala in chopped form, and part of these will be sliced to be sliced and deep fried to be used as garnish as well as in the masala. You will see that in a minute. When the shrimps are marinating, I am deep frying the sliced onions and then the cashew nuts. Cashew nuts, they get golden brown really quickly, so keep an eye and take them off the heat once they are slightly golden, because they will continue cooking off heat as well. And then in the same oil, I am frying the shrimps as well. If you don't want to deep fry your shrimps, that's totally fine. You can shallow fry as well. However, please remember to fry them in batches and not all together in one go, because then the shrimps releases moisture, and then all of them will sort of get poached or stewed in their own moisture rather than fried. It's a tedious process, like I said earlier. Be patient, take your time and do it. And also, the objective here isn't to cook the shrimps completely, but just getting it fried. The reason being that the shrimps are going to be cooked again in the masala, and then again when we are putting the biryani for them. And shrimps generally cook really fast, so when you're frying them, just get them golden brown, and that's enough. So step 1 and 2 are complete. I have fried my onions, cashew nuts and shrimps. Now we move on to the next step. I know traditionally onions, ginger, garlic, green chilies, etc. are chopped by hand or sliced by hand, but I just put all of them together in my food processor and get them chopped in one go, because it saves me a lot of time. You can take the traditional route, no issues there. So apart from that, you would also need salt, coconut milk, juice of lime, tomato paste or ground tomato, ground garam masala, some yogurt, oil and almond powder. Now almond powder might seem a little odd for a Kerala biryani, but I wouldn't suggest skipping this. If you don't have the powder, but if you do have whole almonds, just grind them to a powder in your blender. In a deep bottomed saucepan, add the oil, garam masala, onions, ginger, garlic, green chili, etc. and some salt, and start sauteing them. It takes a while, but adding salt does sort of speed up the process a little. And then when it starts to cook and it's slightly mushy, you can add in the tomato paste or ground tomato, and then continue sauteing. You want to reach a stage where the onions are all mushy and sort of becomes a lump. Then you can switch off the heat and add coconut milk. When you're adding coconut milk, make sure it's at room temperature, and also keep stirring so that it doesn't curdle or split. And then after a minute or so, you can add in the yogurt. Again, make sure it is at room temperature, and you keep stirring it in, and you add it part by part. I also added the lime juice along with it. Switch on the heat back and then stir everything gently. The video is slightly sped up. And let everything cook and add in the almond powder. You can add it bit by bit. Now the almond powder has the tendency of soaking up the moisture, so if you feel that it's making your masala a little too thick, it's best to add it part by part and check before adding the rest. Cook everything together for a couple of minutes and then add in the fried shrimps and their juices. I don't use paper towel for the shrimps because I like to have that oil in my masala. It's more flavor. And then add in some of the fried cashew nuts and fried onions and cook everything again for a few more minutes. Put the lid on, cover, and keep it on a gentle simmer. But it's best to check in as well so that it doesn't stick to the bottom. And your masala is ready. Garnish it with some chopped coriander and mint leaves. Next step is to cook the rice, and I had a lot of tips that I wanted to share, but unfortunately I have to stick within the time limit, so I've left them in the comment section. Please do read my tips. Once the rice is cooked, it is time to layer the biryani. I take the largest pot that I have, and I rub some ghee or butter on the sides and the bottom. This helps keep everything moist, and if you're cooking your biryani on stove top, then it helps avoid sticking the masala from sticking to the bottom as well, but it's an optional step. You can skip it if you don't want to. So the first layer is always the masala, and then you top it with rice, and then the fried onion, cashew, ground garam masala, some chopped mint and coriander leaves. Now the ratio of masala to rice is totally up to you. Some people love a lot of masala in their biryani, some people prefer less, so you can play around and see what you like best. You can also add in some squeezed lime juice along with the garnishes, but I didn't because my masala was tart enough and I didn't really see the point of adding more lime juice to it. As you will see, I still had some masala left over, which I froze for later use. I normally do not cook masala and the rice on the same day. I usually prepare the masala much in advance and freeze it, and then take it out and move it to the chiller, and then thaw it on the counter and cook the rice and do the layering. This saves me a lot of time. When it comes to dum, what I do is I cover it with the lid. You can also use an aluminium foil to seal it tight, and then I preheat my oven to 200 degrees Celsius, and I leave the biryani in the oven for about 25 to 30 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius, and that's it. We are done. We can enjoy it with some raita, papadam, chamandi, pickle, so on and so forth. Now if you don't have an oven, you can also take a tawa, heat it up, put it on the stove, and then on top of the tawa keep your biryani. Don't leave it directly on the heat because there are chances of it burning the masala at the bottom. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's definitely a tedious process, which is why you should shower a lot of love on the person who is cooking the biryani for you. If you try this recipe out, please do tag at Neelu's Journal, DM me a photo. I would love to see what you have made, and do not forget to hit that follow button. Speak soon. Wassalam.